Hi all. So it's 3 p.m. already. So we'll be starting the webinar. Thank you all for taking your time to join us on this Friday, and I hope you're having a great Friday. Also, thank you for waiting patiently for us for the 3 p.m. before we start the webinar. So my name is Faye, and I am your moderator for today. So this webinar is actually entitled The Road to Becoming a Hawker, and it's jointly organized by Hawkers Collective, NTUC LearningHub, as well as Kopitiam Hawker Boss. So this webinar, a little bit background about this webinar, is actually a continuation of the previous webinar that we had last year, September, whereby we actually invited some of the hawker mentors that we were working with, that the Hawkers Collective team was actually working with, to share about their experiences, being a hawker, the challenges that they faced, as well as how they actually managed to successfully build a hawker brand. So today, this webinar is actually a continuation of that webinar, whereby we actually invited some of our aspiring hawkers, or rather the hawkerpreneurs that have been working with Hawkers Collective since the previous webinar, to actually share some of their experiences from signing up with Hawkers Collective to eventually setting up their very first hawker stall. So this is actually the agenda for today. We'll first be going through an introduction of the Hawkers Collective program. So, Hawkers Collective program is actually a program that you can leverage on if you are very keen to enter into the hawker trade. And the next part that we're going through is actually the hawkerpreneur story, whereby we have actually invited two of our aspiring hawkers that have been working with Hawkers Collective to share some of their experiences as well. And then next, we'll be having an introduction of Kopitiam Hawker Boss by Joey from Kopitiam Hawker Boss. And then afterwards, we'll be having an introduction of the different courses that NTUC LearningHub actually offers. And these are the courses that you can actually take if you are keen to understand more about the F&B business. And then lastly, we'll be concluding with a Q&A session to answer any of your burning questions. So you can see that there is a Q&A tab in the Zoom there. So if throughout the webinar you feel like there's a question that you want to ask, then you can just type in the chat, and then we will try our best to answer it either throughout the webinar or at the end of the webinar. Yeah. So moving on, who is Hawkers Collective? So why is Hawkers Collective actually organizing this webinar, right? So just to give a little bit of background, Hawkers Collective is actually a social enterprise that aims to help aspiring hawkers enter into the hawker trade. And how we actually do that is that we connect aspiring hawkers with hawker mentors, so that these aspiring hawkers can actually open a brand under the hawker mentors. And these are actually the 10 hawker brands that we work together with, the 10 hawker brands that Hawkers Collective actually work together with. So they are very varied in terms of the food type that they offer. So we have Chinese food, Malay food, dessert, Western food, as well as fusion food. And we actually worked together with 9 hawker mentors, which are the brand owners of the previous 10 food types that we actually showed. And these will be the hawker mentors that will be coaching you at the end. So our hawker mentors are very varied in terms of their background, as well as the number of years of experience, especially like the food type that they sell as well. So we have hawker mentors that initially wasn't in the hawker trade, and they took a leap of faith and decided to make that career switch, and then eventually find themselves working in the hawker trade and enjoying it. And then we also have hawker mentors who are second generation. So they actually got the business from their parents, and then now they are running the business and trying to scale it. Yeah. So then if you after hearing this, you feel like, oh yeah, very keen to learn more about the Hawkers Collective. To learn more about Hawkers Collective, you can actually sign up or register your interest with Hawkers Collective. So at the end of this webinar, we'll actually be flashing out a QR code whereby you can actually register your interest if you're keen to have a more in-depth understanding of what Hawkers Collective does, And at the same time, we'll be arranging like a one-to-one meetup session so that we can understand what are your expectations of being a hawker as well. And then, afterwards, if you feel that, yes, going into the hawker trade is something that I really want to enter into, then we'll go to the next step, which is selecting a hawker brand. So it's out of the 10 brands that we previously shown in the previous slide. And then lastly, we'll then be deciding on a timeline. So deciding on a timeline to open your very first hawker stall. And at the same time, you'll be taking some of the courses from LHub to actually enhance your knowledge in the F&B sector. And you'll also be apprenticing with the hawker mentors, whereby they will be teaching you how to cook and stuff. Yeah, so now we'll be moving on to the more exciting part of this webinar, which is the hawkerpreneur story. So we have actually invited 2 of the aspiring hawkers that have been working with Hawkers Collective to open up their very first stall. And so the first aspiring hawker that we have invited is Madam Egg. And just to give a little bit of background about Madam Egg, she actually opened a hawker stall under the brand Old Chendo at Westgate Food Republic. So, with the help of Hawkers Collective as well as her 2 sons, she decided to, open up this store to do like a small business lah. So I will pass the time on to Daniel and Madam Egg to share more about their experiences. So maybe you all can share like, what are the motivations that led you to open up this store and what are the challenges that you faced?
Okay.
Hello, 我是 Madam E。
Hello.
Hi。我的英文不好，我讲华语 ，OK？
可以。
OK。因为我对小贩一路来都很有兴趣，但是也就不知道怎样入这行啊。后来就跟儿子商量了，然后也拎了 Hawker Collective。然后就这样慢慢的开始，然后我们又很喜欢OMA 煎肉的那个煎肉味道都很喜欢，所以我们慢慢的就去拎了这个 OMA 煎肉，说有 Hawker Collective 帮忙后来我们就拜托他啦，就看怎么帮我们 set up 咯。
这样你 going into this hawker trade, right? What are some of the challenges that you face?
开始就不会啦，所以就很拜托尤林也OMA 煎肉老板尤林也帮了我们很多，人跟我们讲解，说我们慢慢的我也会投入啦。
面对什么挑战？
开始的挑战是那时候我们刚开始的时候是那个 COVID 还没有解除的时候，说很多东西就慢慢我也不知道，就有儿子的帮忙，还有GK 说的帮忙，人就慢慢走过来，还算很顺利啦。
Okay, probably anyway, my name is Daniel. I'm one of the son of Madam E here. Okay, I think one of the on-start challenges for most aspiring hawker is how to start, or where to start really. So I think initially we got in touch with Hawkers Collective. They did show us quite a few directions, like what kind of cuisine or food that we want to go into, and of course what location is more suitable. So I think from Kiosk Collective assistance really help us to filter out which location is suitable for us, and of course in the end we chose OMA Chendo like my mom shared we love the food itself, the dessert, and we say that hey, there's no store for Old Amor Chendol in the West. So that was where our direction was. We wanted to head into the West to bring this dessert to, to the West side. Yeah, so with the help of Hawkers Collective and also Yuning, boss of Old Amor Chendol, we managed to cut a deal with this Westgate Food Republic, for this store for our dessert. Yeah, I think that's the main, and of course during COVID, we faced a lot of challenge. How much stocks to order, because the rate of the customer is actually fluctuating. It's not it's not constant. So there'll be days that there'll be very little customer, or there'll be days that suddenly there's a surge of customer. We find it hard to pinpoint, and then what is our target audience. So I think when Hawkers Collective came in, and it was a very periodic meetup, actually came down, GK and of course Faye came down to our store to help, sort out certain administrative issues that we face, how to look out for our potential or targeted audience for our dessert. Yeah, I think slowly with that, we managed to get into the zone of, so this is how we do our estimation, how we do our ordering, and calculation, of course, our daily earnings. Yeah, because in the past, we didn't know, we just collected everything, but didn't know how to, pinpoint to the exact, say, what's the timing example, what timing is best for our customers, and how much they order. So yeah, I think with Kiosk Collective help, we have a lot of these inputs not just on surface that we think, hey, we just make it good, nice, serve to customer, as simple as that. So I think a lot of the back end administrative, we got a lot of advice from Hawkers Collective and Yuning himself, or from Old Amor Chendol. Yeah, back to you.
I think there are some questions. I'm not sure whether you want to answer here, but then they asked, how long has Madam Egg been doing Old Amor Chendol?
Okay. So we started in December 2021. 2021 December, 1st December. Yeah. So till date it's about 6 months 6 months. So. I think on the chat, I see a few questions. Maybe quickly I can help to answer. Okay, so like the first one is Westgate. That's under Food Republic. Food Republic in Westgate. What's the usual working hours? So our contract with Food Republic is from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So that's a full 12 hours. So we work in a 12-hour shift, or we get 2 shifts, one in the morning, one in the evening shift. Yeah, to make sure both shifts are covered. So of course there are certain requirement that we have to open every day, Monday to Sunday, public holidays. Yeah, so these are some of the things that we have to comply to because that's under Food Republic. But of course, if you are in a food center, hawker, I think it's more of your own time, own target, how you want to manage. Yeah, but of course, being in the Food Republic, we have to follow what Food Republic requires. I think some of the other questions like rental costs really depends on location. Yeah, it's very subjective. Okay, so I would say we managed to get a very good deal with the help of Hawkers Collective and Old Amor Chendol. I think that one, not for us to review, but really in deeper discussion with Hawkers Collective and with the advice, they told us whether is it good or bad, how much, let's say if it's a very high kind of rental cost, how much do we need to do, or how much sales we have to do in order to cover back and then to make profit. So I would say all these administrative issues, Hawkers Collective gave us very good advice. Okay, for us, maybe some of the sunken costs, quite straightforward. Okay, fridge, and then the ice shaving machine, the pause machine for collection. So not a lot. Of course, the setup of the store itself, renovation, really also depends on how fancy we want the store to be. So for us, we take reference from Old Amar Chendol is very simple, straightforward, no fancy, no fuss, simple old traditional chendol. Oh, yeah. So how long did we take for preparation to start the store? I think we start discussing somewhere in mid-June 2021. So less than 6 months, we managed to start operation. Yeah, then of course, in between these 6 months, like Faye highlighted, we went for the courses and then start from there.
Yeah. Okay, so just to share yeah, Hawkers Collective does do the bridging for like the ingredients and everything. And all the costs and all the costs to set up the store, right, is really subjective. So it depends on the business and the location as well. So it's very hard for them to share exactly what's the amount. Yeah. But it also depends on the brand as well. Yeah. So thank you, Daniel and Madam Egg, for sharing. I believe you all learned a lot, right, from them. So, I mean, I think indeed, like, running a business is not very easy. And, for them, right, at the start, because COVID, right, then all the F&B business are impacted. But then somehow, we just kind of manage the traffic flow, and then eventually people just start coming, and then the business starts getting better. So, yeah. So now we move on to the next aspiring hawker. That is Jeffrey. So just to give a little bit of background to Jeffrey. So Jeffrey has always been interested in going into, the F&B operations, but, he never really had the opportunity to go into it until recently. So for Jeffrey's case, it's a little bit special. So Jeffrey actually, worked together with Hawkers Collective, Sumadi. So Sumadi is actually the owner of Park Safari at the Adam Road, which actually sells mee soto and mee rebus. And apart from that, Jeffrey also worked together with Kopitiam Boss to get some subsidies. So later, Joey will be sharing how how this program actually helped Jeffrey Yeah, so maybe Jeffrey, you want to share your experience and why what led you to actually open up your first hawker stall?
Very good afternoon. Hello to all the future entrepreneur and hawker. Okay, first of all, my name is Jeffrey. Of course, I've always been interested in F&B. During my younger days, I've been involved helping in the F&B industry. So I think at the end of the day, there are so many questions you have asked in detail. I think we should just forget about the detail part. We should ask ourselves, why do we want to open this business? Is it because of passion? Is it because of making a lot of money and whatever? So you have to ask yourself, why do you want to open a F&B or a hawker business? Because there are other business like retails and any other industry. So for me, I think it's the passion to be able to see the smiles of the customer once you provide a very good food and excellent service. That is where I'm coming from. I'm not a businessman. Also, I'm not trying to make a lot of money. And we know that opening a hawker stall, we cannot be a millionaire. And if you ask your friend who have been a F&B or hawker, it's a very tiring work. You start from everything at the operation, from going to the market, to do the operation, to do the logistic, to make sure you don't waste any of the things you buy. And at the end of the day, you have to serve the good food and good competitive price with good service. And you hear a lot of comment of your food, feedback, because there's 1,000 customer with 1,000 different taste buds also. So you have, at the end of the day, I always said, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, why do you want to be a hawker? So it's a lot of hard work if you want to know. So if you are the boss, you have to learn from the cleaning of the store, cooking, washing up and closing up. And of course, you have to obey or adhere to the NEA and the food agency, so that you won't be asked to close shop. So along the way, for many years, I've attended a lot of courses and workshops. One of it, of course, the NTUC LearningHub. And I also attended Singapore Poly How to Be an Entrepreneur in a 6-month part-time course. So because of my interests, I attend all these courses. And along the way also, I'm looking for a F&B business. And as you know, Singapore, we have a lot of makan shops everywhere. So are you one of the best? If you are one of the best, anywhere you go, people will chase after you. But if you are one among the many, what you have to offer is, of course, competitive price, good food, and good service lah. That's where customer will keep coming to you, and for their convenience, and especially customer would like to have convenient to go to your store. So location is very important if you really want to open a store. So along the way, you have to look for brand. Of course, if you are a new hawker, you want to come out with your own creative fusion menu. It's a very tough road lah. So the only faster way is, of course, to get a brand to assist you. So along the way, I've asked a few of those franchise company to come into the business, and I realized it's very expensive. Average between 300,000 to $500,000 just to get a franchise, and of course, you have to pay for the royalty, all this. So this Hawker Collective and NTUC has assisted us. To me, my business here is the most minimum, so-called less troublesome business, but already so minimum, so limited. But it takes a lot of your time. So in the morning, the normal routine in the morning, 6 a.m. you have to go to the market to get all the things, because you are a small stall, so you don't buy in bulk, because you want to serve them fresh food, so you have to buy fresh item. So in the morning 6 to 7 you go marketing, and you take, because of his through my mentor Mr. Sumadi, he have teaches me the process. All it takes me less than 2 hours to prepare everything. One guy, you are able to do that. And of course, after that, you just wait for your customer to approach. And like I say, it's the location is very important. Unless after a while they know that there's this meat show found at this old airport road, so the repeating customer will come. And I do have every day the same few customer who keep coming every day for their breakfast. So if you look at the menu itself, it's really breakfast, lunch, after lunch, that's it. Unlike Mirabos, it was supposed to be a one meal, but become a 24 hours menu for nasi lemak. So hopefully also I have to look at the demographic, the situation along that old airport road hawker center to see should I open at night, because the night crowd is also there, the dinner crowd. So I'm looking at breakfast, lunch, and dinner crowd. Tea break crowd is quite minimum. So you have to find creative way. How do you want to sell your menu, which is you can do delivery also, which I have not done at the moment, because I'm still new. It's a 1 month old shop. I'm still learning what the customer trend, but the food process is all there. Within few days, I'm able to learn everything, how to cook, of course, through my mentor, Mr. Sumadi lah. Make my life easy. And anytime when I need him, I just give him a call. He'll drop by to the store to assist me. And one thing, this meat show is actually a family business, because it helps my family, non-tangible, I said, to bond. You know, we have got one communication topic to talk about every day. So at least it's something to have this bond within my own family. So we discuss, we see how what we have done today. Some of the customer, not happy, some customer very happy, all this feedback we just discussed. So it's a very good thing for family bonding. So this is one of the things which I appreciate. Ever since I opened this 1 month, although it's tiring, but that type of tiring is, I find that it's fun. It's not tiring like you work in the office when you go back, wow, so stressed. Then, but this type of tiring is stress-free, I call it. Of course, the only stress you have is customer lah. Hopefully, there's a lot of return customer so that you can sell your food. So that's why I always said, when you want to open a business, you have to ask yourself, what is the outcome of this business? So you have to ask, if I do want to be a hawker, what type of menu also I want to sell? Because there are some menu, if you see, it's quite tough. There's a lot of process, all this. So can you cope it? The other way, the issue you will face is manpower. You try to employ. Although we are giving a very competitive salary, you will not be able to find the right candidate. So those who approach you, usually it's not the one you want, but you have to make up with it, and you try to fit the person to the job, not the job fit to the person. And up to today, I think it's my family is helping me, and some of my friends who is in this business who can advise me accordingly. So it's a minimum business. It's a very good product, easy to do. But of course, when it's easy, it's very tough. Just imagine you have other type of food menu to sell, then it will give you a lot of problem. And I appreciate that Hawker Collective, all this, Mr. all this and his team, they have given me a lot of advice. Mr. Sumadi has given me a lot of advice. We go shopping together. It's a learning journey for me, We go find all the necessary utensil, we look at the store, how to organize it, we having this limited space, all this. So initially the planning, it takes us around 6 months talking, then looking at all what can we do for the store with this limited space and the location. And my next step is, of course, is to promote the food locally. And of course, if I can go one more stage, is to do delivery, all this through Facebook, all this, then we'll go for it. But at this stage, I think I'm limited with my own so-called manpower. And that's where we have to think about it. And hopefully, within 6 months, I think we will improve. Of course, that is what we want. And of course, not only to improve, but of course, to sell the mee soto, mee rebus to every Singaporean.
Yes. So thank you, Jeffrey, for sharing. I also agree with him that, actually a hawker business is very tough. So you really need to have passion for food and passion for the things that you're selling in order to sustain that, because it is long hours. And I mean, if you're saying how much do you earn, right? It's really dependent on how long do you work. I mean, because if you want to take more breaks, then of course you don't open your store and then there wouldn't be customers that come. But if you want to earn more, then probably you have to open your store for a longer period of time. So yeah. So thank you, Jeffrey, for sharing. And thank you, Daniel and Madam Ik, for sharing. We'll move on to the next part, whereby Joey from Kopitiam Hawker Boss will be sharing more about the program. So Joey.
Hi, everyone. Hi, I'm Joey from Kopitiam. Okay, so basically, this program, Hawker Boss program, is a 12 months program whereby we provide support to three kind of hawker. One is the aspiring hawkers. That means you don't have any experience before and you like to kickstart your business in the hawker trade. Second is if you are a heritage brand that wants to expand and you have less than 2 stores now. The third one is, let's say you are F&B concept that actually hire the more challenged workforce. Example like ex-convict or autistic teenagers or adults. So we actually receive application from these resources, and then we will look at the criteria in order to push them up for a committee approval to receive the subsequent subsidies that you see on the screen now. So what this program actually helps you, right, is to provide access to the available stores under our Kopitiam footprint. So Kopitiam, we run food court, hawker centers, and coffee shops. So it depends on your risk, because at the end of the day, the investment needed to operate in these 3 different formats varies. So food court being at the highest level, we're talking about a rental of probably 8 to 10K. In a coffee shop, probably like about 5K to 8K. And at a hawker center, probably it can go as low as a few $100s if you're in an NEA hawker center, or it can be average at about 3,000 plus at a very new hawker center, which we call the social enterprise hawker centers. So if, let's say, you apply and you're successful, we'll try to match you with available stores based on your preference in terms of location. The second part is after we secure a store, we will work in the rental subsidy. So for the rental subsidy, the second bubble is actually customizable. It really depends on what is the area that you need the financial support on. Usually it is rental, but I think in Jeffrey's case at Old Airport Road, because the rental over at Old Airport Road is by bidding, so it's actually not as significant for us to apply the subsidy to that. So for Jeffrey, we actually work on the setup fee, fixed setup fee that we actually provide the subsidy on. Yeah, but for other places, we'll look at a rental subsidy for 12 months. Monthly, we are giving about, the quantum is about $1,500 to $1,800. Yeah, and this includes operation fees as well. The other part is the salary subsidy. Manpower has always been a challenge, and it has become a bigger challenge these days. So what we do is we provide up to 50% of the gross salary, capped at $1,800, meaning to say we will provide a subsidy of as high as $900 for up to 3 staff, and the staff has to be Singaporean or PR. Okay, and then subsequently, other than the financial part of things, we also provide marketing and branding support. So I think come sometime July, August, you will see some social media content about our hawker bosses. And then we also be doing some island-wide promotion to help drive customers to their store. And last but not least, because we are under NTUC, so we actually help to provide sourcing of materials. If let's say you don't have a vendor, or if you're looking at a more competitive price materials, but it really depends on the market forces for the last one. Yeah, I think that's about it.
So thank you, Joey, for sharing about this program. I think there will be, I mean, you can, if you're keen, you can Google Kopitiam Hawker Boss, and then there will be instructions for this last. Yeah. So now moving on to the next part, which is the introduction of courses by LHub. So Derek, do you want to share more about the courses that LHub has?
Yes. Thank you so much, Faye. And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Derek. So I will be here to give you a brief introduction of the 3 courses that we have put in place to help you in your F&B journey. So the first course will be implement a business plan. So this is a very important kind of skills that you need to learn before you start a business. So and in this course, learner will understand and appreciate what this learning plan is about, and and their roles in executing and implementing the implementation plan. And also that includes how you monitor and report the outcomes of your business plan. So for this case, the course itself is a 20-hour course, and the original fees is $450 without GST, whether you are an individual sponsored, whether is it from SME or non-SME. For Singaporeans and PR, age 21 and above, you enjoy a 50% subsidies. And for citizens, Singapore citizens only age 40 and above, then that will be 70%. Yeah. The next slide, please. Next, please. All right, service leadership. And in fact, when just now Jeffrey shared about putting a smile across the customer face, and serving his food to delight them, and this is what service leadership is all about. And how do we excite customers? It's actually the service delivery that you want to demonstrate and show to your customers. So in this case, we are also putting this course to help you in fine-tuning your service delivery. So in terms of personal grooming, how do you present yourself to the customers? How do you engage with customers, handle customer feedback? Go the extra mile to delight your customers, and also how do you suggest, sell, and upsell your product to them? So the course fees over here is $675 across all the different whether is it an individual sponsor, your SME or non-SME, is all one price, $650 without GST. And Singaporeans and PRs will enjoy the 50% if you are age 21 years and above. Singaporean citizens age 40 will then be 70% subsidies. The course itself is 24 hours, so it will be 8 hours across 3 days. All right, next slide, please. Now, this is the most important of all, because without this, you cannot start up your food business. And for food prep pros or food outlet owners under the SFA licensed food establishment, all of you will need to attend and pass the food safety course level 1. So what this course is about is that we will help you or teach you how to practice and maintain good personal hygiene, how to use safe ingredients, handle your utensils, your equipment and your finances, and maintain cleanliness in these areas, and also some of the legislations and case studies. So the cost fees is $150, and Singaporeans will enjoy 50%, if you are age 21 and above, PRs also. And for Singaporeans age 40, then that will be 75%. Yeah. This is a 1-day course, 7.5 hours. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So thank you, Derek, for sharing about the courses. So I think you all have a few questions for Q&A, right? Okay, so here is actually the QR code to register your interest if you're keen to find out more about the Hawkers Collective program. So you can scan this and register your interest. So we're just let me see. Let me look at the questions. What is the validity period for the food safety course?
Okay, perhaps just let me answer this. My last check on the FSA website is that, upon taking and passing the food safety course level 1, then the validity will be 5 years. And then, at the 5 year, at that 5 year, you will need to go for a refresher, and then that will entitle you to another 10 years. I hope this information is still correct. Yeah.
I think someone had a question. Is it a virtual course?
Hold on. I think we do have virtual course as well. Let me just double confirm on this, or perhaps my salesperson can further advise this. Yeah. If I go to check on my website, I believe there's such
virtual.
Perhaps.
Yes. And then you can use.
But do reach out to our salesperson who will advise you on that information. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you have any questions, you can also email us, then we can also help you answer those questions. We can check internally, then help then answer those questions. Then for UTAP, can you use UTAP for these courses? Derek?
I think the salesperson will be able to advise more on this one.
Okay, okay. I think for all the courses related, maybe
Yes.
we just write down, we just say we just ask the questions, we email the questions to, maybe you can email to Hawkers Collective, then we'll consolidate and then we'll reply you.
Yes,
Yeah. Then let me see. So do the subsidies have a period? You're talking about Hawkers Boss program, right? If I'm not wrong, it's 1 year, right, Joey?
Yeah, it's 12 months, correct?
12 months, yeah. So how many levels of helper? Oh, okay, so for the food and safety, right, it's like anyone who actually needs to touch food, right, they will have to attend. So if it's anyone who is operating the stall, then they will definitely have to attend. It's like a mandatory thing. Yeah. Then yeah, I think that's all right. There's no age restriction to participate in this program. I mean, as long as you're in legal age, then it's okay lah. There's no age restriction. Yeah. Let me see. So after 12 months, the subsidy would end already. But okay, so because the program for Kopitiam Hawker Boss is really to help the hawkers in the initial phase. So I mean, after 12 months, you will have to pay for your own. There wouldn't be subsidies, but it really helps. I think that 1 year period is really the period where it helps you break even and recover all your sunk costs. So yeah. Okay, I think that's all the questions that we have. Okay, if you all have any questions, maybe you can just email to Hawkers Collective. So this is actually our email here. Then because I see that there are quite a bit of questions. So if you're if you want to know more in depth, right, about how the hawker scene is, and to understand more about the number of manpower, the working hours, etc., right, maybe you can email to hawkerscollective@gmail.com, and then we will answer your questions lah. And at the same time, if you are keen to actually sign up for our to understand more about this Hawkers Collective session, you can actually register your interest. So this QR code here, you can actually scan the QR code here, and then we have the website here for you to read more about the program. And at the same time, because previously I mentioned that we had a webinar last September, right? So if you're keen to hear what were the questions that were asked during the webinar last September, and what were some of the experiences that were shared by the hawker mentors, you can actually go to our website and listen to those videos. Yeah. So I think that's all for today. Okay, so I think there's one more question. Yes, the food safety course level 1 is the mandatory one. It's the most important one that you must definitely go for, because everyone who opens a hawker store or any other food and business store will have to go for that course. Yeah. So I'll just leave the screen here, and then I guess that's the end of our webinar. If you have any questions, you can just remember to email us at the email address here, and also to scan the QR code to register your interest. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.